Hello and welcome back to the Psych Legal Pop Podcast. This is a podcast where we talk about popular culture through the lens of an attorney and a therapist. I'm Tess Brigham, I'm the therapist.
And I'm Brooke Brigham, I'm the attorney.
And we are back today with the series finale of And Just Like That, Season 3, Episode 12, Party of One. Now, before we dive into this, I was thinking to myself before we started this morning, I was like, let's play a fun game. I'm going to go back to I'm going to look through all 3 seasons and I'm going to write out, and Brooke and I can play this fun game where we talk about what were the cringiest moments of the show. Like, what were the most humiliating, cringiest moments? I couldn't make it past episode 2. I was like, this is too much information. I mean, the page was full after one. And I was like, we can't play this game. Because honestly, I just wrote down under humiliating moments, Che Diaz, like the entire character.
The entire,
I'm like trying to write this stuff down. I mean, there was a bevy of stuff just from the first episode. Episode.
I tend to remember I tend to remember the good parts of it. What do you remember from from season 1?
And we've laughed about this as well, right? Which is the first season of Carrie, Che Diaz, period. Like that podcast, the name, what was it? XY and whatever. The podcast, Che Diaz smoking weed in a corporate elevator, her telling she needs to get her pussy up, her whatever up, Carrie, a sex columnist, unable to talk about sex on a podcast. So therefore, why did you take the job? Miranda and Miranda's drinking, and
Miranda and Che,
Miranda and with Naya, and just all the crazy, stuff with her, like the over explaining and the wokeness and, episode 3, comedy concert, and they're all standing at a comedy concert watching essentially is a TED Talk from Che. And then I got finger banging Miranda. Then I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go to the highlights. So then I'm like finger banging, like but then I was like, this is too much. And I was like, okay, well, who were the biggest injustices? And I was like, okay, Samantha, Steve, I start writing that Samantha,
Harry,
Miranda,
yeah. Who else?
Podcasting
took a hit.
Commercials, her not wanting to write. It goes on and on and on and on. So I'm sorry, I was going to have a fun game for us to play, and I just got sad. It just made me sad.
Well, I think it was getting better, too bad it's over now, because the first season, when they were trying to find their footing, was very painful. And the second season, I thought, was getting a little bit better. And I thought this season was overall pretty good. It started out kind of shaky. I don't know. I'm always going to give this show the benefit of the doubt. I've been watching these characters for 27 years.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of like, and I was very sad that this appears to be over. And people cannot complain about the finale, because when they shot this, they had no idea that it was a series finale. I'm sure they shoot every season unless you announce in advance that this is going to be the end. They shoot every season, thinking that the show is going to go on. And in fact, I listened to the writer's room, and they clearly taped that before the announcement that it was the end of the series, because they were kind of talking about the future of these characters. So, you can't complain about that. If you look at this was a good season finale, I thought.
Okay. You
just hate it that much?
I didn't hate. Because I don't want to be negative just to be negative about it. But okay, what I don't understand is what is the true story? I would like to know what the real story is. And I feel like we're getting multiple stories. So if the story was, if Michael Patrick King, let's just use him as he is the representation of the show. So if he'd come out and said, listen, we did not expect this. We did 12 episodes and yeah, it kind of ends. We went back and shot a few things to try to wrap things up. But yeah, this isn't what we thought it would be. But instead, we get this very kind of like, let's gaslight everyone and tell everyone this is a really great place to stop. And you're kind of like, well, no, this isn't a good place to stop. Then how are you ending these things? And I'm still confused of whether or not the original run was originally 12 or was it 10? And did they, because we've talked about this, that did HBO say, we're canceling you, but here's two more, you can have two more episodes to wrap everything up? Because it seemed
they could not do that fast.
so
That's a production that is extremely elaborate. They could not have just a couple months ago or something shot 2 extra episodes. There's no
I'm not
way.
saying, I don't think they could have shot 2 full episodes. They could have shot scenes. They could have shot scenes for sure. You could have shot all those Thanksgiving scenes that wraps everything up, everybody eating pie. Yeah. But again, I don't know that's what it is. That's my problem. My problem is, I just tell me what the truth is. What is the truth? We thought that we would have more time with these characters. This isn't where we thought we'd go. Okay, this seems to be, I mean, if we're going to wrap up anywhere, let's wrap up here and then let's just move on with our lives. It's the spinning, it's that bothers me, of not quite understanding what's going on. And I did not like this ending. It felt like they were having to wrap a bunch of storylines up that they started and didn't know where to go, so they're like, let's wrap this up. And I'm sorry, we watched 2 men pee and I watched a toilet overflow.
Yeah, we could have done without that.
There was
That was very juvenile.
Yes. And this is my other thing I want to say directly to Michael Patrick King, who I'm sure is listening.
He wrote this episode, obviously.
What did Gen Z ever do to you? What did these young people ever do to you? He is basically just creating the worst young people ever. Every young person on this show is awful.
Mm-hmm.
You really, really, I mean, come on. I mean, again, you can have kooky characters, you can have people that are different, or unusual, or fun, but really, I mean, it just feels like you're really, really trying to make us hate this generation, aren't you? And I'm here to defend them because they're not all like that.
Wow, you have some really
Yes,
strong feelings.
I do.
I like I said, I'm much more forgiving. This isn't easy. It's not easy, and then they got cut off, and you know, I'm really tired of like the TikToks, which are mostly from gay men and young women who
Mm-hmm.
might not even have been born when Sex and the City premiered. Talking shit about this show.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? Here's the problem. This is a show for middle-aged women, period. And just like that. Okay, I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about this is for middle-aged women. And I saw a TikTok of the New York Times television critic. Her name is Taffy Brodesser Ackner. It's quite a name. But she was saying, do people hate and just like that because they hate middle-aged women?
Mm.
Do you hate this show, or do you actually hate yourself a little bit for getting old? Because she says
Ooh.
at the end of every And Just Like That, the HBO app, if you watch it on the HBO app, after the credits run, it automatically takes you to the last Sex and the City episode that you watched. Because
Mm.
we're always dipping in and out of
Mm-hmm.
Sex and the City. Um, and she said, the whiplash of seeing these women middle-aged and then seeing them young, you're like, oh my God, that's me. That was me then. This is me now. And you go to who you were when you were watching it the first time, Sex and the
Mm-hmm.
City. So I don't know. It's different. This show means different things to different people, but this is not a show for young people or men. It's a show for
Yeah.
middle-aged women, period. And even the middle-aged women kind of have some problems with it,
Mm-hmm.
but
This
we don't
middle-aged
just,
woman
yes,
has problems with it.
a lot of problems with it. But I mean, I think we should be forgiving of the process is just it's not easy. And people's expectations are so, so high for this show, and, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I
Uh,
wanted to go out on a positive note, and I really did like this episode.
you did.
I really
Okay.
did.
This is my point. And this middle-aged woman's going to say this, which is this. I and maybe the part is that I think that great art is when people are authentic and it feels authentic. And this show has never felt authentic to this, and just like that
Mhm.
has always felt like it hasn't felt real or true or authentic the way the first series did. That first Sex in the City felt like, even when it had its ups and downs, it always felt like we're being honest and vulnerable with you. This, I felt like that the honesty and vulnerability of it, I think, became almost humiliation. And I don't know. I just don't like how they treated these characters. I think they, again, we've talked about this. There were too many, so they couldn't. That part of it is there were too many, so they can never really truly honor them and honor them in the way in
Mhm.
which they should have or could have. And what drives me crazy is the two best moments in the entire show were when Charlotte comes over afterwards and it brings the stuffing, and she tells Carrie, like, we had sex. And Carrie's like, I'm gonna kill you. And she's like, because we had sex. And she's like, no, come into the bedroom with me. And she starts fussing at her about Mark Kasabian. That felt like friendship. That was like
Mhm.
real deep bond friendship. Like, I'm kill you. Can you what? He has a plane, and then the scene where after everyone leaves and she's talking to Miranda about, like, oh my God, Charlotte tried to set me up with so and so because he has a plane, blah, 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 blah. Those two moments I thought were beautiful and amazing. And they're great actresses. And when it's these women together, it's wonderful. And one thing I was reading about, like, the wedding scene, the wedding dress
The bridal
bridal fashion
fashion
show,
show.
you know, people are like, if in a different universe, this would be four women who just went to this thing talking about it at a table at a coffee shop versus two separate conversations. And
Yeah.
I think that's part of it, was how split it's been, how it's siloed it's been, and that the magic, if they could have captured a bit of the magic of the first one, where you have a good chunk of the actors, that's my issue. That's my
Yeah,
issue.
no, they had way too they added in way too many characters into season 1.
Hmm.
And then even after they pared it down, it took them forever to get them to a point where, okay, now we've sort of got a core 4 or 5,
Mhm.
but even then, like Seema and LTW never really integrated into the core 3.
Mhm.
And LTW's character never really materialized into much. I mean, maybe a little bit more this season, but I mean, still pretty shallow.
Mhm.
And Seema, again, finally this season she gets a little bit vulnerable, but still, it's like, okay, well, here we are at the end.
Yeah.
So I think it would have been a much better show if they would have just stuck with the three of them, quite
Mhm.
frankly.
Yeah.
And don't try to replace Samantha and don't bring in all these other people. They could have addressed, how the world has changed without
Mhm.
bringing in all these other um characters. It was just unnecessary. I mean, it was almost tokenism, or kind
Yes.
of insulting.
And that's what I mean. That's that inauthentic. That did not feel real. It felt like, oh, we're checking boxes now. Okay, which box do we need to check? So it didn't feel like you're creating characters where you could see them in this world. I could see this as this person. It was yet again them saying we have to check some boxes. There's a cream pie in front of us. It's got to end up in someone's face. How are we going to get there? That's my problem.
Yeah, and they could have just made Anthony the fourth, because he was in the show not from the beginning, but
Hmm.
for a good chunk of it, and he was in the movies and all that. So yeah, it's the end of an era.
It is. And honestly, I hate the idea of them killing off Samantha, but I think her dying would have been far more interesting. Again,
Mm.
like that whole thing, I hate that. And I understand they did that because they wanted to hope that Kim Cattrall eventually maybe would come back. And she did. She did for the second season. But um, if she had died, I think that's much more of a middle-aged thing. You and I both had friends die. That's a very
Mhm.
real middle-aged thing to have happen to, and here your core group of friends, now you're this, and how does this morph and change over time? So I don't I personally feel like my anger isn't got nothing to do with the fear of getting older. I'm happy to be older. You know what I mean? Like any of that. And it's so weird because I'm usually the very Pollyanna one. I want everyone to like everybody.
Yeah,
So
you're really going hard for
yes,
these
I am.
these
I'm sorry.
people.
Justice for Gen Z. That really just made me so
Well,
mad. So mad. I understand it's a joke. They're
well,
making jokes. They're poking fun. I got it. I just was like, you got to be kidding me here. Really, really.
there are people like that, Tess.
I know there are, but it really does feel like Michael Patrick King has something to say about this generation.
I think he's just trying to be cool. Like he's trying to say, I'm down with the young people, you know. This is like a 75-year-old man, you know. He's out of touch.
Well, then you
He
shouldn't be writing those characters. Then you should be consulting me because I will tell you what they are like.
HBO shouldn't have hired him
Consult
back.
me. Check out my other podcast, Gen Mess with Tess, where I talk about these things. If you want to hear me talk incessantly about generations and mental health, you can go find me there.
Oh God, I
All
wonder
right,
how
let's.
much money HBO lost on this.
What, from not hiring me?
No, from making this show.
Yeah, for making the show. Yeah, well, as we talked about, the
The
puppets.
puppets bankrupted the show.
Yes, it did that. Carrie bankrupted a podcast company, and then puppets bankrupted, and just like that. All right, let's start it. We're 17 minutes in, and
Yeah,
this
this
is
is
where
only
we
a
are.
32-minute episode. So let's get going.
Well, and also I also want to say too, what's interesting, when I was looking at the first season, all the episodes from the first season, especially the first 4 or 5, were all 44 minutes long. And then the
Hmm.
other half, they were 38, 39, 40 minutes. So that was one thing. These were shorter episodes.
Oh yeah, definitely.
So, and that's why I also kind of feel like it feels slapped together. But okay, let's go. Start. Go ahead, Brooke. You start.
Okay, so the first scene we have Carrie in this new age sushi restaurant. And she says to the hostess, "Just one," which is the theme of this
Mm-hmm.
episode. And there's robots running around delivering food, and they hand her an iPad, and she doesn't know what to do with it, and the guy has to just order for her. And then they put this big stuffed animal, well, not an animal, a tomato,
Yes.
Tommy Tomato, in the booth with her, so she doesn't have to eat alone.
Yes, because a woman eating alone is the saddest thing in the
It's so
world.
tragic.
Yes.
But I went to a restaurant similar to that in Hawaii. Not quite as up upscale like that, but I love that. I love kind of stuff
And
where
can I ask you a question? Were you completely confused on how to do everything?
kind of I had Layla help me. Because it's like you order on this iPad, and then this food just kind of, it's on like a conveyor belt, and it comes to you, and then it
Mm.
stops right in front of you.
Ooh.
It knows where you're sitting,
Yeah.
and then, then you
How
open a door.
spooky.
Well, obviously, you have to put your
Yes.
seat number in there or whatever. And then you open the door, and there's your food, and you never
Yeah.
really interact with a wait person.
Yes, I know. Well, there was a place when I had my office in downtown San Francisco. There was a coffee shop below me where it was a robot. It was this
Hmm.
arm that you go in and you put like a card in. You put your card
Right.
in, you order your drink, and then they would know where to hand it to you. But the funniest part about it was, it would, like, people would go in there the coffee was okay, but people would go in there all the time taking pictures and all that, but they always still had to have a human there, because
Right.
to explain to the other humans how the robot worked. And
Right.
then of course they wanted to sell other things, that they were like, well, we want to sell muffins and stuff, but the robot's not robot's not muffin ready. So we have to have this human sell the muffins over here. I was just like, you could have just had this guy making all the coffee. I mean, it was just a little bit weird and wacky, but I know what you're talking about. And I know that feeling. At first I was like, God, is this insulting to middle-aged people that we can't figure this out? But then I was like, yeah, I remember how I was at that place. Like, where do I stick this? What do I do?
Yeah.
So sadly, sometimes when it's a lot of technology like that at once, it does get a little like overwhelming versus just an iPad or just one
Yeah, it's just
thing.
a lot of new things like being
Yes.
thrown at you. Um, so then the next scene is LTW and Marion in their little editing room, and they're looking at film, and they're talking about this woman Anne Lowe who made Jackie O's first wedding dress or designed it, and she was the granddaughter of slaves, and then I think a phone rings or something,
Mhm.
and they stop, and it's this person, I think it's a woman, uh, Terry Kirk, from the Obama production company. And Michelle Obama says that she's too well known to be a subject in this documentary, but she might narrate the series.
Ooh,
So that's a
very
big
exciting.
catch. So
That's a huge get.
LTW and Marion get all excited and start jumping around, and um, they're hugging each other. And all of a sudden, LTW goes, "Oh my gosh, I can't." I forget what she says, but
We
basically,
can't go outside. He's like, "Let's go get a drink. Let's go get dinner together. Let's go get a drink together." And
right.
she's like, "No, no, 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 no. We can't go outside together. We can't. This has to be about work. This has to be about work."
Okay, my first thought at this scene was, I don't really even think he likes her in that way. I think this
Mm.
is all her projection,
Mm.
because I really got the feeling like he was like, let's celebrate,
Mhm.
let's go out and have a drink. I want to celebrate with you. I didn't think that he was hitting on her or thinking that it was going to lead to anything else. And
Mhm.
she, who's been fantasizing about this for months,
Mhm.
goes, "Oh, no, 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 I can't." And he politely says, "Okay, yeah, you're right. We shouldn't do
Mhm.
that." I don't think he had any intent. I don't think this has ever crossed his mind.
Yeah, and that would be interesting. I mean, again, they can't explore that because the show's over. I understand they got to wrap this up, but
Yeah.
that would have been if that's where all of this was leading to. That's interesting. That's interesting. Of because again, I think people do create. People do get crushes on people, and they might. Oh, we're both married, and oh, it's forbidden, and you're projecting out how you feel on the other person, and
Mhm.
but again,
Yeah, because I think she'd been feeling resentful towards Herbert for a long time, and
yeah.
she says that at the bridal show, where she kind of airs her grievances about, we
Mm-hmm.
always have to do this and we always have to do that and we have to be da, da, da. And it's like her attraction to Marion, I think, was just like, oh, it's just not Herbert.
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
And
it's
someone being nice to her.
someone else I can spend time with and be nice to, and I don't have to do anything for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it was, yeah, I think she projected all this stuff onto him. I don't think he ever had that intention. He just wanted a job.
Yeah. Well, and I think that it would be interesting. I mean, we haven't really explored this much. I mean, again, middle-aged topics, explored this much with Charlotte or LTW. These are two women who work and also are responsible for their families, and just how
Mhm.
stressful that is, and the difference between how people treat them at work versus how people treat them at home. Like
Mhm.
that would have been interesting for them to get
Mhm.
into of all of that, of,
Well,
you
they
know,
did with Charlotte a little bit, where when she started working at the gallery, and her kids and Harry were all like, "Well, when are you coming home? What's for dinner?"
hmm
And like expecting her to still just keep doing everything, and she had to set them straight a few times. That did come
hmm
up, and like that night when she tried to go out with the girls after work and
hmm
celebrate a sale. And same thing, they're calling her and texting her, and she threw her phone in the blender. Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah. But that was so weird too, because when at first Charlotte, I don't know if it was the same episode, but at first Charlotte was like, "Oh, you all need me. I can't possibly work." And everyone's like, "No one needs you, mom." you're
Yeah, but then as
fine.
soon as she was gone, they're, like, blowing up
Yeah.
her phone.
Yeah. But explore that. They never acknowledge that or explore that. Like you say we're gone and then I leave for 1
Mhm,
minute and now what? You can't do anything without me.
mhm.
And that is a very real thing. Anyway, moving
Okay,
on.
well, that's the end of that.
Yeah.
Um, so then we see Miranda and Steve in a restaurant, and, I just I wrote down that Mia texted Miranda that she violated her aura when
Mhm.
she showed up at the shop, and, Brady said that she's bipolar, so she's feeling very attacked,
Yes.
Steve is a little more calm now. He's,
Mhm.
had some time to think about things. But I thought this was very sweet,
Yeah.
because they're both like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? And, you know, they both just acknowledge that all they can do is just be there.
Mhm.
And Steve says, there's no way our grandkids are not going to know us. And, so they're just committing to being
Yeah.
supportive parents,
Which is all they can
grandparents.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I thought it was sweet. I'm glad Steve got some good way out here, Steve.
Yeah. Yeah, this was the best they've portrayed Steve in this whole series. He was
Yes.
calm, he wasn't talking in that strange voice, like, he was
Yeah.
just kind of the old Steve again. It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
thank God. That guy, they really threw him under the
Oh,
bus.
poor Steve.
All right,
Yes.
so next we have Adam and Seema, and
Scene number 1 of peeing, men peeing.
yes, Adam just walks into the bathroom butt naked.
Mhm.
Well, Seema's in there getting ready, doing whatever, and he just starts peeing.
Mhm.
And
The early stages of the romance are dead.
yeah, it hasn't
When you
even been that
walk right
long.
I mean, like, if you 2 are still taking showers together every time you shower, you should not be at this peeing phase. Do you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, because he says you showered without me.
Yeah.
And she's like, "Well, I my business is picking up. I've got to go."
I've gotta get to that WeWork.
Yes,
I've gotta
someone's
get to
waiting
the
for me for an appointment at
WeWork.
WeWork.
I gotta get to the WeWork before all the stations are gone.
Yeah, I don't want to get stuck with a bad location, in the corner. I want to look important.
I need to be front and center. Yes, yes, her
Yeah,
business
and
is growing.
yes. I forget how, like, I think does she
She
tell him something about the bridal show, and then
Yeah,
it
she
comes
says
out that he's against marriage?
yeah, basically she says, oh crap. She says, I have to go in early today because I'm leaving early tomorrow to go to a bridal fashion show. And Adam's like, well, what's the point of that? And she's like, what do you mean? What was the point? It's like, oh, that's a waste of time. And she's like, what's a waste of time? Marriage. Marriage is a waste of time. And Seema's like, uh-oh. Which again, knowing everything we know about Adam, I'm not
Yeah,
surprised to hear
that
that
tracks.
you
Yeah.
didn't infer that at all. This is the first time you ever really thought that this guy might not be into marriage?
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
and this is also like, okay, Seema is a woman in her 50s.
Mhm.
I mean, I think that, like, I mean, well, they get into this more like later in the episode about, expectations of getting married. And I know she has a strong cultural
Mhm.
expectation of being
Yes.
married. But at a certain point, I mean, I think most women kind of think, well, yeah, I would like to be with a partner or something, but I don't necessarily have to get married
Mhm.
because, by that time, I mean, marriage is, I don't know. I guess I was a little bit surprised that she was so, like, shocked by that or taken aback by that.
Mhm. Yeah, like she had never thought to herself that
Yeah.
maybe marriage isn't things have not turned out how you thought they were going to turn out. And
Mhm.
I think that's one of the things that Sex in the City has always done really really well is setting people up who are and I think maybe when you're young, it's easier to sort of understand. But that whole thing, like I think Charlotte's a great example of, she had a vision of what she thought she wanted in her life in this picture and she got it and realized, oh, wait a second, I was looking for the wrong things.
Mhm.
I was looking for the image and I was not looking for the person. Let me look for the
Mhm.
person. And now I have the image, you
Right.
know? Um, so that's the other thing. I mean, I could see how they're setting up Seema a little bit of like, you thought you were going to get this, but now you're going to get this. But it
But
just
it's
felt
gonna
real.
be just as good,
Yeah.
there's no, I mean, marriage at this point, it's too late for her to have a baby, a biological child. Um, so and she has her own money. Why would you wanna get married when
Yeah.
you wanna combine your finances? I mean, it's like
Yeah. Yeah.
at your age, like, the marriage, started out as a contract for people to survive,
Hmm.
for women to survive because they could not go to school or work. It was a contract and it's
Yeah.
evolved over time, but at a certain point, a modern woman doesn't need that contract.
Well,
And
and
if
also
someone wants to be with you, just be with them, you
the other
know?
thing too is guess what? Women in their 30s today are saying, I don't know if I want to get married. I
Mhm.
have clients in their 30s who they're like, "Well, I have a bunch of savings. I'm not gonna, I'm, I've been at this tech company 10 years and
Yeah.
I get a big payout. I'm not gonna give it to this person." I mean, like, trust me, it's not 50-year-old women, it's 30-year-old women that are going, you know
Mhm.
what? What's in this for me?
Right.
What's in it for me? So, you know what? Women are saying, I'm gonna be a little selfish. Guess what? I'm not sharing my money with you. What
Yeah.
do you think about that?
Well, women have come to the realization, and there's so many statistics around this right now, with so many people living alone, not getting married.
Hmm.
And also, women have finally realized that at this point in time, um, you will thrive more if you are not married,
Hmm.
whereas men thrive less if
Hmm.
they're not married.
They need
It's
wives, yes.
they need wives, and women like they they just don't need, if you can make your own money
Mhm.
and do your own thing. And
Yeah, LTW would have gotten that documentary done years ago
yes,
if it
she was
wasn't for
too busy.
Herbert.
Herbert took all of her time and
Yeah,
energy, more than her kids even. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
they were more independent than Herbert.
Mhm. So, and I think, and kids, I mean, listen, kids will derail you, like take up time and take up energy. But I think women are really in this place of, if I'm going to give up time and energy, then I will do it for my child and raise them to the point where eventually they will be independent,
Mhm.
versus this man who
Yeah,
I'm going to be caretaking for you into our 80s.
a
Like,
man baby, yeah.
yeah, a man baby. So again, I just don't think that I think it would have been interesting if they had a character in here that very much was like, no, I don't want to get married. I don't want to have kids. I want to forge my own path. Any of that. Anyway.
Well, yeah, this
So
this this continues. I think the next scene is, it's the four. Miranda's not in it, but
yeah,
it's
it's Carrie, Charlotte, LTW, and Seema,
okay. So this is when they
the bridal
go to the
show.
bridal show. And who is this? Carrie, who says lunch with a side of shame.
Yes.
It's tragic for women to be alone in the past and in the future. I mean,
Hmm.
this is a real heavy duty bridal show. These
Yes.
these guys, these four are really just having a cathartic
Hmm.
session. I mean, it was a
And can I
lot.
ask you a question? Why would any of these women need to go to that show?
I think they were doing it because they knew someone who was, there was
Oh,
some
okay.
personal connection.
Ah,
Like
okay.
they knew the person who was putting it on or
It
the
just all felt like
designer.
too on the nose. Like, just
Yeah, it's
again,
like,
it
why
felt
are we
very
doing this?
shoehorned in. Oh, we have a friend, and it's like, I can see fashion show, yeah, Carrie, but is this anyway? Felt
Well, no,
shoehorned
I
in.
mean, I understand the bridal thing because this most of this show is about choosing, are you going to be with someone or are you going to be alone? Are you going to
Hmm.
be with someone even if it's not what you envisioned it might be? I mean I think it tracks with the theme of the episode, but it was just kind of awkward with all these brides walking. It was,
Well, yeah, and did you notice that? I mean, beautiful dresses. Did you
yeah.
notice that one of the dresses looked exactly like, or was like an homage to the dress that Carrie had in
Yeah.
the first movie? And I thought they were going to make a reference to that. And I'm like, oh, that just left. Okay.
That's a
So
little
it
Easter
was,
egg.
yeah, I guess so. But as I was mentioning earlier, instead of having 4 women have a conversation together and getting different opinions and different points of view, it was, these 2 separate things where Seema and Carrie are talking, and everyone's like, "Carrie would never talk during a fashion show, that's a big no-no." But, they're talking, she basically tells her that Adam doesn't believe in marriage, and Seema's big question, which is a very Sex and the City question, which is, you know, do I really want to get married because it's what I really want, or have I been groomed for this my entire
Mhm.
life? Is this just something I attached? Someone told me I wanted or needed, 40 years ago, and do I still need it?
Yeah, and I think the grooming word is an interesting word because in the writers' room, they talked about how I didn't really notice when I was watching, but, there were in the audience, in the camera frame, there were like young girls there
Mhm.
with their mothers, and they were talking about how, it starts very early, and these young girls are there and they're seeing all these beautiful dresses, and it starts very early, that concept that, oh, someday you're going to get married and you're going to have this wedding, and
Mhm.
Seema admits that, that's how she was raised, and then Carrie asks her, "Well, what do you think? Do you have to get married?" And Seema says, "Yeah, I've been groomed for this since I was a little girl. Do I really want it, or am I just programmed for it?"
Mhm.
And then she asks Carrie, "Well, why did you get married?" And Carrie says, "I guess I just wanted to feel chosen."
So what did you think about that? Was it interesting? I was
It
like,
is
"Hmm."
interesting. And that's what Oprah Winfrey has always said about people always say, "Well, why didn't you and Stedman get married?" Because I guess he did ask her to marry him.
Mhm.
And she said, "Well, as soon as he asked me to marry him, I realized that I just wanted to be chosen. I
Mm.
didn't really want to get married."
Mhm.
So, yeah, I can totally understand that. That's normal, and it's part and parcel of this whole kind of programming that we put
Mhm.
girls and women
And
through.
I agree with that, but what I thought was interesting was, but you were chosen before. Aiden asked you to marry
Right.
him. You were chosen before. I wanna say she wanted to be chosen by Big.
By big, yeah.
She wanted Big to choose her finally.
Mhm.
That's what she
Yeah.
wanted, and that's
She'd been
why.
chasing him for like
Yeah,
10 years.
yeah, and she wanted that man who would not settle down, who would not do that,
Mhm.
to give all that up for her, and that's what she wanted. So, I was interesting when she said, "I felt chosen," because I thought in my head, by Big.
Right.
So,
Yeah, no, you're right. I mean, and trust me, I'm sure Carrie could have gotten married to a lot of people,
oh
but
god, yeah.
she was obsessed with Big, and
And
yeah.
whatever, and again, I think that's another great example of people get fixated. People get fixated on
Mhm.
certain people. People get fixated on certain situations. What,
Mhm.
6'5" finance, right? Like all of those things. I need this person to
Mhm.
be like this, or I need it to be that person.
Right.
And yeah, and I think people make a lot of choices and decisions based on that. So, anyway, and then we
Yeah.
have this other conversation between LTW and Charlotte where LTW is like, looking and going, "Oh, do you think these young girls, should we tell them what it's really like to be married and all of this?" And then LTW is like, "Is this ever about us? Do we ever get a moment?" And Charlotte's very, you know, it's interesting because Charlotte's very happy in her marriage, and so for her, like,
Mhm.
she's kind of like, "Oh yeah, it's about cancer, it's about this," and then then LTW asks Charlotte, like, "Would you still, if you knowing everything that you know now, would you still get married?" And Charlotte goes, "Yes," and we do, and I believe that. And then LTW says, "Oh yeah, I would too," and I'm thinking to myself, "No, you wouldn't.
I
No,
don't know
you
about
wouldn't.
that.
How is it that everything we've just seen in the last whatever makes you go, no, you wouldn't?" So why can't you then say, "I don't know. I don't know. I don't know."
Yeah, because she just ticked off a laundry list of complaints. She
Yeah.
said, "Marriage is about confusion, not knowing how to help, holding your tongue. It's about their feelings, their disappointments, what to say, not to say, whether or not to help." It's like, wow,
No.
that's a
And
lot.
that's Herbert. That's not
Yeah.
all men. That's not marriage. That's Herbert.
Yeah, that's Herbert.
So again, I mean, they could have used LTW and Charlotte as a way of sort of showing these two different women, different, having a lot of money, having a lot of stuff, but who's happier, right?
Mhm.
What are you seeing in all of this?
Mhm. Yeah, so then Carrie and Charlotte have, their last walk and talk.
Yes, yes.
And Carrie says, "Who will I be alone? I've never lived alone without the thought that I won't be alone for long, even after Big died."
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes on to say, "I thought about maybe Aiden." And so, yeah, because she's the one who reached out to
Yeah.
him. So clearly she didn't want to be alone. And she acknowledged, maybe a little bit, Duncan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so then she says, maybe it's just me.
It's not, what did she say? Not a tragedy, just a fact.
Yeah. Which
Okay.
is which is true. I mean,
Yeah.
she has, but yeah, what is this thing about I've
Alone,
never
like,
lived alone without the thought that I won't be alone for long. Well, how is this time any different? Why wouldn't you think the same? Why wouldn't you what just because it didn't work out with Aiden and Duncan left, like there's
mm-hmm.
no other men out there? You
Yeah,
know?
there was that. But I think that the other thing, what she's saying, which again, they could have done a much better job with, which I think would have been an interesting thing to talk about, which is this, that really what she's saying is my entire life, I have been programmed. I have been, and I think a lot of women do, when I get a boyfriend, when I get married, when I do this, when I have children, like she's like, so, but I've had those things, I've had those opportunities, y- y- you know, what would life be like if I was not constantly creating it with the idea of a man showing up?
Mhm.
That's interesting. Like, why?
Mhm.
That's an interesting thing. Why couldn't she arrive at that sort of aha moment of like, well, why am I doing this? It's almost this resolution of like, I'm going to be alone. I just have to accept it. And me, the poor widower Bradshaw,
Mhm.
is going to die alone. Why can't it be, what? I see LTW with that Herbert. I see,
Yeah, I
this
don't
over
want
here.
that.
I don't need a man. I don't need any of this. So why can't I enjoy my life?
Mhm.
That's a good question. I think that's what, and again, I think that's what a lot of women are asking themselves. A lot of young women are asking it now, and a lot of older women are asking it. Like, why? What if I made myself the star of the show for
Mhm.
once? What would that be like? Instead of
Mhm.
waiting for someone to show up. But it just felt a little like the way they resolved. It was just like, oh God, this is sad. This didn't feel good.
Yeah, and then LTW goes home and does this stupid thing, which it
Uh,
was so insincere, I thought, after
yeah.
she just told us how miserable life with Herbert is.
Yes. Yes.
She goes and she, like, says her vows to him,
Yeah.
and says, "We'll get," or maybe he says, "We'll get over this." Talking about his depression, his problems.
You know, I love this. This man was deeply depressed, deeply depressed. And so the way you get out of your depression is someone proposes to you in a funny way. Like, I take you, Herbert, in your Tom Ford suits. It's
Mhm.
just like, okay. Wrapping stuff up. I was
But
just like, oh, look at
and
this.
that was that.
And that was that. We're just
Never
wrapping it up.
never to be seen again. I
Yes.
think that was their
No, no, no. We
last.
see him again when he's like, now that I'm not a comptroller, I can stuff my face with pie. And then he's like, no, Lisa, you go. You were cooking all day. I'll take care of this. And all I could think was he just wants to eat the rest of the food in
Right.
peace.
Oh.
All right. So Carrie and Adam are talking in Carrie's garden. So there's Adam on Thanksgiving planting new bulbs.
Mhm.
And so of course Carrie has to ask him about, like, we have to make sure that Adam is not, that Seema's going to be okay. So let's make sure of that. So Carrie has to go to Adam and make sure that, he really loves Seema, which we all know he does. Like, that's not the
Mhm.
issue. It's just like we all know this.
Yeah.
So but Seema is not just a Thursday, she's a lifetime. And then the best is she's like, I think we should change this garden. I'm like, don't you love when you have expendable amount of money that you can spend? I
Right.
don't know. I mean, I've had some gardening work done, like, really fabulous gardens are easily 6 figures.
Yeah.
So, easily 6 figures, and in New York City, oh, sure, let's just spend another 100,000 and rip
Yeah, let's
everything
just
out.
rip up this, work that I just spent all this time doing and just put in something else.
And then he's kinda like, "Okay, sure. No problem."
It's like as long as the check
Yeah,
clears,
I guess so. He's like,
whatever you
"Great."
want.
Yeah, this he's like, "I can just stay back here and keep changing this woman's backyard. She's got endless amounts of money."
Yeah.
Yes. But the most exciting thing has happened.
Oh God, this.
This was and I this I knew this was gonna happen, people. Harry is hard. Harry is hard. Dun, 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 dun,
Hallelujah.
dun. And then a special announcement's made. The poor children, God. I was like, "Okay." I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
We're all very justice for Harry. Harry, I'm glad you ended on a high note. I really do. I'm so happy for you because you
Oh,
are a good guy.
well, but yeah, he's another one that they've just put through the ringer,
Mhm.
and this is just icing on the cake. But
Yeah. Well, they got to give him a redeeming moment.
yeah. So now Carrie's delivering pies,
Yes.
and she's all dressed up in this fancy outfit with a tulle skirt and a matching hat, and it's like, oh gosh,
Mhm.
there's Carrie.
Yes. So she drops by Charlotte, but she can't get the stuffing cuz Charlotte's having sex. LTW and then Seema. Seema's in jeans.
Oh God,
I know. Seema's in jeans and like a hat,
a beanie.
a beanie. It's just like
Where does she think she's going to, like a
yeah.
commune or?
But it's also a little insulting too. I mean, I think if I would be, someone who dresses a certain way is now like, I'm going to put on this beanie because
Well,
whatever.
yeah, and you're going over to someone's house for Thanksgiving that you've never met before.
Hmm.
I mean, you don't have to wear your fancy designer or whatever, but you could,
Yeah.
put on something more than jeans.
And then she drops a chocolate cream pie off at Anthony's. And she does not want to hear about Anthony's explanation or, he's trying to apologize to Miranda again. She's like, I got to go. Meter's running. I don't care about your storyline anymore. I got to keep moving. And then we
Yes.
finally end up at Miranda's and we find out that Joy's not coming because her dog is sick. And she doesn't know if that's an excuse that Joy's using or if she's just avoiding Miranda and her messy family life. And we will find out that it was real. The
It
dog
was
is
real.
sick and the dog had to have surgery.
Oh yeah, and they and also the whole Goldenblatt family's not coming, so I guess Harry got
Yes.
his way.
Yes.
So the
Yes.
numbers are dwindling of the guest list is
Yes.
dwindling. Um so yeah, so Miranda just leaves all these guests who are in her house,
Mm-hmm.
um, and to go to the vet to make sure that the dog really is sick,
Mm-hmm.
and leaves Carrie there. And then Mia and her friends show up, and this is
Yes.
this is the your
I've said my
injustice
piece.
for yes.
I've said my piece about this. I have a lot of other thoughts, but I've said my
Well,
piece.
yes, Mia is this so there with her friend Epcot, who's lactose intolerant, but yet
Mm-hmm.
eats like an entire cheese plate,
Yes.
and Silvio, who
Mm-hmm.
just
It's
is
just
really
mean.
he's just rude.
He is
He's
so
rude.
mean and rude. Ugh. He talks about himself in the third person. He
Mm.
calls Brady a ginger. He's rude. He's dismissive. I mean,
So why were you defending him?
I'm not defending him. I'm just saying I'm not defending that kind of person. What I'm saying is that okay, I mean, I understand what he's trying to go for with some of these, like the name Epcot um and I think the other thing about Mia that he's trying to show is a little bit of all the things that Mia's saying to Brady isn't wrong. Like, I only eat these things. You didn't ask me what I wanted to eat. So that's on you. And, okay. It's Thanksgiving, but
Well,
okay.
yeah,
And then
it's
she's
on the
like, I
menu.
never asked you to run around and get me those things. I never said to you, you have to go out and get me those things. You made that choice to do that. Again, yes. And I think what he's showing are which is, young people are really trying to feel out their boundaries. They're trying to create more boundaries. And I think that I just feel like he probably encountered a few young people that pushed back on him. Didn't suck his dick the way he wanted them to.
Oh my
That
goodness, Tess, this is getting.
I'm sorry, but I think he is not used to this generation that's not willing to just put up with him.
But
That's my
Tess,
two
I don't
cents.
care how old these people are. They're rude. Okay, they could
Yes, these
be
characters
any
are rude.
age.
These characters are rude. Yes.
Well, so I don't know if it's really, I don't know if it's a commentary on Gen Z. That just happens to be, Brady happens to be 20, so
Mhm.
he's going to be with someone who's around his age,
Mhm.
and these are just people who are the same age,
Yeah.
and they just happen to be assholes.
Yes. And
So,
that's fine. Fine. Fine.
but
That's all I'm
actually,
saying.
Mia was kind of nicer to, she was sort of defending Miranda, when Brady
Mhm.
was, I don't know, he got mad at her about something. I don't know. Brady is terrible to Miranda.
Yeah.
And Mia was kind of defending her because I don't think Mia has a mom who gives a shit, And
Yeah.
here's this mom who's just trying to help and whatever. So maybe she won't be too bad of a mom after all. I don't
No,
know.
no, no. Mia tells us, she's like, "Oh, I had a puppy once, but someone left the door open and the puppy ran away." She told Miranda that story as Miranda was leaving to go be with Joy
Hmm.
and the dog. So,
So who is that someone? Her mom?
could be probably Silvio would be my guess, or Epcot. But I mean, they're making this story out to be like that Mia's irresponsible. She couldn't even keep a puppy alive.
Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not saying that she's. We'll never know.
No, we won't.
We will never know if these two step up to the plate and get their act together. Probably not. Baby's probably living with Steve and Miranda. Steve has to move back
Yeah.
in.
Well, I
Care of
saw
the
on
baby.
I think it was on TikTok, one person mentioned that wouldn't it have been more interesting if it was Charlotte, if it was
If
Lily that
Lily
got
got
pregnant.
pregnant, yeah.
So for Miranda this is different, right? Because
Mhm.
but Charlotte's always been like, okay, here's the prim proper, you know, all about image.
Mhm.
That's, why not make it Lily than this? So anyway.
Yeah. I don't know. They didn't want to go there. That would have been a lot.
And
So
then guess
then,
who shows up? Mark Kasabian,
yeah.
everybody's favorite plus one. Poor Mark.
Everyone's shocked. And yeah,
Yes.
poor Mark, he walks into this strange party with Carrie is like the only adult there
Hmm.
with all these other characters. And he's like, "Can we open the wine now?"
Hmm.
So Sappho the dog ate a Lego, but she's fine. And Miranda and Joy are at the vet bonding,
Hmm.
and like Joy tells her that I don't even know if she ever actually tells her this, that she doesn't like. Oh no, Miranda reports that Joy doesn't
Yeah.
like to be with around
Family.
families or
Yeah.
something. But we don't know why. They never tell us why.
Yeah. Yeah. All I could think was, oof, Thanksgiving Day surgery. That's going to cost a fortune.
Oh, yeah.
That's a very expensive surgery.
Special yeah.
Um, yes. So, and then this is where Charlotte shows up with the stuffing, as I mentioned earlier, and she's like, she brings her into the bedroom and is like, you are fixing me up with Mark. And she's like, but, and he's been married 3 times. But she's like, but he has a plane.
He's
Which,
smart and cultured and he has a plane.
yes, which I don't know. I don't think those are bad things. I don't think, I mean, it, of course, at this point in their lives together, I don't think Charlotte would have done this. But anyway, I was like, okay, I can see the plane. That might be appealing.
Yeah, and so Carrie and Mark decide while Brady's out looking for cucumbers and seaweed, they decide that the turkey is finished and they take it
Hmm.
out of the oven.
I was like,
But
you
it's
guys don't have a thermometer?
well, yeah, shouldn't have the thermometer have been in the turkey or
Yeah, I mean, I think it's pretty basic that, like, if Brady left, he would have said, "Put the thermometer in at this time. If it's this
Yeah.
temperature, take it out." I
Well,
mean, you could see some of these things coming from a mile away.
yeah, I don't know if Brady's that mature yet to think ahead like 5 steps. Um, so when Miranda comes back, she comes back to Silvio's dancing.
Yes, yes, his interpretive dancing.
God. Again, it's like you're in someone's house, you're blasting the music, you're doing your weird dancing, and then when she says, "Oh, hi, how are you?" He says, "Still hungry, bitch," or something like that.
Oh, no, he's awful.
He's awful. God, someone needs to kick him out.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah, and then Brady shows up and he sees Mia and he's like, "Wait, you're eating cheese? Why did you have me running around getting you seaweed?" And she's like, "Well, no one told you to do that." So, anywho.
but she lied. She doesn't only eat cucumbers, brown rice, and seaweed. These two, God,
Yeah,
love
ugh.
this child.
Yeah. So finally, can we move to after dinner? Because
Yes.
this I thought was very sweet. This sort of like post post dinner recap with Carrie and Miranda. I thought this was a great scene of them sort of talking about everything and going through everything. And Carrie being like, "Oh God, he's gonna ask me to walk me home or take me home, and I'm gonna have to do this, and God forbid, and blah blah blah." And then they're just laughing about it. And then we see for the second time a man peeing,
Mhm.
and Mark uh, flushes the toilet, and it's all hell breaks loose. The
Yeah,
dam
this
has broken. This was
mm,
disgusting, and we
this
did
we
not
did
need
not.
to see this.
No, we did not need to see this. This was so stupid. And yeah, and then Miranda's left to have to like clean this all up. And in the
Hmm.
middle of cleaning up shit, literally in the
Yeah.
bathroom, Joy comes over.
Hmm.
Um and she's very happy about that.
Yes.
Yeah, and Mark does not ask to take Carrie home because he's so mortified about
Yeah.
the toilet thing and just wants to forget this whole evening, I'm sure.
Yeah. I don't blame him. So yeah, and then Carrie leaves.
Yeah, she
And she
goes
goes
home.
back home, and so she looks like she's gonna take her shoes off, and then she's like, "Oh, that motherfucker's not downstairs anymore. I'm gonna keep my shoes on, and I'm gonna buy that apartment." What do you think about that, Marcus? What do you think about that, Duncan? Um,
Yeah.
and then she puts on I had a feeling like this karaoke machine being there's something that's gonna come back around with her keeping that karaoke machine. And she puts on Barry White's, Everything, You're My Everything, and starts dancing around her place. And then we see everybody's sort of storylines in their own ways wrap up. It's like we see everyone having pie after
Mhm.
Thanksgiving. So, Anthony and Giuseppe, we need to wrap that thing up. So, how do we wrap up a fight or a big issue between two people? Pie in the face.
Mhm.
And then we got Rock, who says, I guess Rock wasn't upset about pictures being taken of them at the play because Lily took a ton of pictures. And so Rock says, "I'm going to be a lot of people in my life."
Well, yeah, they say that was just a character.
Hmm.
That's not me. That was just
That's
a
not me.
character. Yeah.
And then LTW and Herbert, right? Because Herbert's thrilled. He's packing on. He's like, "Oh,
He
I'm
can
just going
eat
to get really
again.
fat. I'm just
Yeah.
going to I'm just going to eat." He's like, "No, you take the night off." And then he calls one of his kids in, clean
Yeah.
up.
Load the dishwasher.
Seema and Adam are with his family, and she doesn't even miss the gluten. Miranda and Joy are together eating pie, and then we see Carrie rewriting the epilogue. It's the woman realized she was not alone. She was on her own. So what did you think about that last line?
I liked it. I think it's a great way to reframe,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
She
And
yeah,
again,
she's not Carrie's not
you're
alone.
not alone. You're not alone.
No. She's just not living with a man.
Yeah.
I mean, she's on her own. but and there's a lot of freedom in that.
Yes.
Because notice when Carrie goes to eat her pie, she just gets out a spoon and just eats it out of the pie tin.
And guess what? She starts probably not at the crust edge. She starts somewhere towards the middle. She's like, I'm not going to waste my time on crust. I don't have to answer to anyone.
No, she doesn't have to cut it and polite. I mean, that's the thing. She can turn on her music and dance around her house. She can eat her pie. She's made that house very homey and decorated it exactly how she wants it. Doesn't have to put in any weird man furniture pieces or like. So yeah, and she doesn't have to do dishes for anyone.
Yeah. So that sink is so tiny.
Yeah, well, Carrie doesn't cook anyway. Yeah. So I don't know.
Yes.
How she eats, but yeah, there's there's a lot of freedom in being on your own.
There is.
So, R.I.P.
Yes. Bye, and just like that. Goodbye.
Goodbye, our beloved characters.
Yeah. End of another era.
Yeah.
So,
unless they make and just like that movie,
which they probably will.
Hey, if they get paid enough money, they will.
Yeah. So we have not figured out what we're going to cover after this, but both Seeking Sister Wife is coming back.
Oh yeah.
And Cody Brown is on Special Forces. So, but none of those are starting for a few weeks.
That's not till the end of September.
Yeah.
So we'll find something.
Yeah.
What, I don't know, but
something to fill in these sad, empty times.
Yeah. This Monday show I've enjoyed it. I don't know if
I love a good hate watch. I love a good hate watch, but I felt frustrated at many times. Many times.
Yeah. So. Well, it's hard. It's hard to try to, recreate something that's iconic.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes,
not easy.
Yes. No, it's not. It's not. So, anywho. All right. Well, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy us, we were supposed to mention the Patreon earlier. Yet again, we forget things.
No, we decide to
we weren't going to do that? Oh, okay. We can't decide what we're doing. So if you enjoy us and enjoy this podcast, please go check out our Patreon, where you get additional content. You get everything, all these episodes ad-free. You get a weekly bonus where we talk about more about our personal lives and some news stories that we're following. And we do true crime and an Ask Us Anything for our higher tier. There's lots of ways to support us. You can write us a review, 5-star rating and review. Follow us on social media. Follow us here on YouTube. Hello. Yeah. Download the podcast. Share it with a friend. All those things.
Thanks so much for listening. Thanks for going on this journey with us.
Yes.
Here the whole time.
Yes. Thank you for the end of this journey. All right.
Okay. Until next time.
Yes. Bye.
Bye.